In this class, let us discuss about polarization. 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 One-sidedness of light is called as polarization. One-sidedness of light is called polarization. The meaning of one-sidedness. In order to understand the meaning of one-sidedness, first of all, we must know the nature of vibration in a wave. We learned about the light waves, light wave nature in case of interference as well as in diffraction. But there, whether the light wave is a transverse wave or a longitudinal wave, whatever it may be, it is no matter. No doubt, light waves are transverse waves. Sound waves are longitudinal waves. But the nature of vibration is not taken into account in case of interference and diffraction. But in polarization, it is not so. The direction of vibration is very important because, by definition, polarization means one-sidedness. Unidirectional light is called as polarized light. So, sound waves are longitudinal waves. That means the particles vibrates parallel to the direction of propagation of the wave. If direction of propagation of wave is considered as Z, then the vibrations is also along Z direction. To and fro motion of the particle is called as vibration. But in case of light, the vibrations are either on x direction or in y direction. Since this is Z is the direction of propagation of light. Light waves are transverse waves. That means the vibrations are perpendicular to the direction of propagation. If Z is the direction of propagation, the vibrations are either in x direction or in y direction. Or in a plane, xy plane, all the vibrations which are lying in this xy plane are perpendicular to the direction of propagation. So, this is the nature of transverse waves. Light waves are transverse waves. So, if we consider the Z direction is the direction of propagation, then the vibrations are either in x direction or in y direction. But in case of polarized light, the vibrations are only in x direction or only in y direction, but not both directions are not possible. If the light passes both type of vibrations, then it is said to be an unpolarized light. Or otherwise, if the vibrations are along x direction only or along y direction only, then the light is said to be a polarized light. So, the polarization of light waves is explained with the help of a crystal. Crystal possesses a crystal axis. When light is allowed to pass through this crystal, if it has number of modes of vibrations, then the vibration which is parallel to the crystal axis is allowed to pass through it. The other vibrations are absorbed by the crystal, or they are transformed into the parallel vibration which is parallel to the crystal axis. If we rotate, again this light is called as polarized light. If we allow this light, polarized light, to pass through another crystal, then we can observe light here if and only if the axis is parallel to the vibration, or the axis is parallel to the axis of the first crystal. If it is rotated such that the axis is perpendicular to the axis of the first crystal, then no light is allowed to transmit through it. That means the vibration which is parallel to the crystal axis is allowed to pass through it. So, in this way, the first crystal is used to produce a polarized light. So, this is called as a polarizer. And the second one is used to study whether the incident light is polarized light or not. So, this is an analyzer. So, the polarized light is represented by either arrow mark or dot mark. Say, arrow mark represents the x component or x vibration. Dot represent the y component, that is the vibrations which are in parallel to y direction. The unpolarized light is represented by a dot over an arrow mark, or like this. So, this is the x component of vibration and this is the y component of the vibration. So, this is the representation of unpolarized light. This is what is the representation of polarized light. So, we can distinguish between the polarized light and unpolarized light like this. So, what is polarization? One-sidedness of light is called as polarization. That means the light which consists of vibrations in only one direction. The vibrations in the medium during the passage of the light are perpendicular to the direction of propagation, because light wave is a transverse wave. If z is the direction of propagation of light, then the vibrations are either in x direction or in y direction. If the light consists of only x vibrations or only y vibrations, then it is said to be a polarized light. Polarized light is represented with either an arrow mark or with a dot mark. And an unpolarized light is represented with an arrow over a dot. Now, let us discuss about plane of polarization and plane of vibration. Plane of polarization and plane of vibration. Plane of vibration is a plane which contains the vibrations of the polarized light. A plane which contains the vibrations of the polarized light. Plane of polarization is a plane which is perpendicular to the plane of vibration. That is, a plane in which the vibrations are absent. A plane in which the vibrations are absent is called as plane of polarization. So, like this, we can understand the meanings of plane of vibration and plane of polarization. Here, this is unpolarized light. After passing through the crystal, the perpendicular component is eliminated. Only parallel component, parallel to the axis of the crystal, is allowed to pass through it. So, the plane which contains these vibrations is called as plane of vibration. A plane perpendicular to the plane of vibration is called as plane of polarization. Plane of polarization. Now, let us discuss about the methods of polarization. Let us discuss about the methods of polarization. So, polarization means one-sidedness of light. How do we get this polarized light? When an unpolarized light is allowed to pass through a crystal, the vibrations which are parallel to the crystal axis are permitted to pass through it. All other vibrations are avoided. So, the light which consists of unidirectional vibrations is called as polarized light. So, we get polarized light not only by using a crystal, but also there are several methods. One, polarization by reflection. Methods of polarization. Now we are going to discuss about methods of polarization. We get polarized light by reflection. We will get polarized light by means of reflection. That is what is called as polarization by reflection. And the other one, polarization by refraction. Polarization by refraction. And also we get polarized light by means of double refraction. So this is polarization by double refraction. Polarization by double refraction. And the other one is polarization by selective absorption. Polarization by selective absorption. And one more method is polarization by scattering. Polarization by scattering. These are different methods to get polarized light. The first one is polarization by reflection. When the light is reflected by a reflecting substance like glass or water at a certain angle of incidence, it is observed that the reflected light is a polarized light at a certain angle of incidence. It is observed that the reflected light is a polarized light. When the reflected light is a polarized light, then the remaining portion of light which is refracted into the medium is also a polarized light. So in this way we can get polarized light by means of reflection and refraction. Reflection and refraction. And one more method is double refraction. In some crystals like quartz, calcite, doubly refracting crystals, when light passes through it, it splits up into two rays, ordinary and extraordinary ray. In some crystals, when the light ray is passing through them, it splits up into two rays, ordinary ray and extraordinary ray. Both the rays are polarized light. Both the rays belongs to polarized light. And one more method is polarization by selective absorption. If we use a pile of plates, if we use a pile of plates like this, then the reflected ray finally becomes polarized light. This is what is called as selective absorption. And also the last one is scattering, polarization by scattering. When light is scattered by small particles, when light is scattered by small dust particles, the portion of the light scattered by the particle is observed as a polarized light. As a polarized light. So, these are the methods of polarization. Now, we are going to discuss about Brewster's law. Brewster's law. When a ray of light is reflected at a glass surface, then it is observed that the reflected and refracted rays are polarized lights. So, at a particular angle for glass, it is 57 degrees. For a particular angle of incidence for glass, it is 57 degrees. Only the reflected light is 100% polarized light. So, the angle of reflection is also here 57 degrees. So, it is observed this particular angle, at the angle at which the reflected light is 10% polarized light, is called as angle of polarization. Angle of polarization. P. At this angle of polarization, Brewster found that mu is equal to tan P. Here mu is the refractive index of the reflecting medium. But according to Snell, mu is equal to sin I by sin R. Here mu is equal to tan P means sin P by cos P. Therefore, we can write sin R is equal to cos P. Sin R is equal to cos P. That is equal to sin 90 minus P. Sin 90 minus P. That means R is equal to 90 minus P. That means R plus P is equal to 90. What is our angle of refraction? So, at angle of polarization, R plus P is equal to 90 means this angle is also 90 degrees. That means both reflected and refracted rays are perpendicular to each other. Perpendicular to each other. This is what is called as Brewster's law. Now, let us discuss about the Malus law. Malus law. According to Malus, the intensity of the polarized light is proportional to cos square theta. Cos square theta. So, the intensity of the polarized light transmitted through an analyzer varies as the square of the cosine of the angle between the plane of transmission and analyzer, that is the angle between the polarizer and the analyzer. So let us consider the amplitude of the incident light is A. Then a component A cos theta is parallel to the axis of the analyzer. A component A cos theta is parallel to the axis of the analyzer. Remaining component A sin theta is perpendicular to this component. The component which is parallel to the axis of the analyzer is only transmitted through the analyzer. Therefore, the intensity of the light after emerging from the analyzer is given by I is equal to A cos theta whole square, because intensity is proportional to the square of the amplitude, because I is proportional to A square. Here A means amplitude square. So this is equal to A square cos square theta. But what is A square? If the total vibration is allowed to pass through it, then the total intensity is given by A square. So we can write A square as I naught into cos square theta. I is equal to I naught into cos square theta. I naught is the intensity when the total vibration is parallel to the axis of the analyzer. If the vibration is inclined to the axis of the analyzer, then a component of it is only allowed to pass through it. The component which is parallel to the axis of the analyzer is allowed to pass through it. And the remaining component which is perpendicular to the axis is not allowed. So, after emerging from the light, what is the amplitude of the light? A cos theta. Then what is it? Its intensity? A cos theta whole square. If the total vibration itself is parallel to the axis of the crystal, then it can pass through it. That means the emergent light intensity is given by A square. If it is inclined at an angle theta with the axis of the crystal, then a component A cos theta is only permitted to pass through it. Permitted to pass through it. So that's why A square gives the original intensity. That means theta is equal to 0. That means the vibration is parallel to the axis of the crystal. If it is inclined, if the vibration is inclined to the axis of the crystal, then a component A cos theta is only allowed to pass through it because it is parallel to the axis. Therefore, the intensity is given by A square cos square theta is nothing but I naught cos square theta. This gives I is proportional to cos square theta. This is what is called as Malus law. And then in the next class, let us discuss about the construction and working of Nicol prism. The working of Nicol prism is enough to describe the polarization by double refraction. Polarization by double refraction. So far we learned about polarization is the definition of polarization. What is polarization? Polarization is one-sidedness of light. That means unidirectional light. The polarized light consists only unique vibrations. Light waves are transverse waves. If Z is the direction of propagation of the light wave, then the vibrations are either in X direction or in Y direction. But in polarized light, the vibrations are only in X direction or only in Y direction. Later, we will discuss about circularly polarized light, elliptically polarized light, like that. But now, here the vibrations means the linear vibration. That means the light is linearly polarized light. So, we also discussed about different methods of production of polarized lights. And then we discussed about Brewster's law and Malus law. So, in the next class, let me explain the construction and working of Nicol prism.